When something good happens, you don't say to everybody, hey, let's go out and have some chicken. You say, hey, let's go have a steak and celebrate. My earliest memory of me wanting to be in the restaurant business stems from my dad. He bought a restaurant in Mountain Lakes, New Jersey, and it was called, the name of the restaurant was Ernest's Casserole. And he bought it and changed the name immediately to the Continental. And it was a small neighborhood kind of restaurant. And then he slowly made it busier and built banquet rooms. You know, he made it successful. My father was there every day, greeting you, talking to you. In the meantime, he's taken me to work more often now. He made sure I did the worst jobs, which I couldn't have been more happy to do because I was making him happy and doing good, and he was proud of me. So I cleaned floors, I cleaned toilets, I washed dishes by hand before dish machines, set up the bar, cut fruit, did everything I could just to be involved. It was pretty magical for me. My father taught me so many important things. He taught me how to work hard, and he taught me loyalty. He taught me loyalty to my customers, and he taught me loyalty to my vendors and the people I do business with. You need to take care of customers. So that's where the loyalty came in. If you were his customer, he made sure he knew everything you liked. And when you came in, Ron, don't even look at the menu. We got something you love.
Bob is eager and anxious to see you and greet you. He's invested in the place, and you can tell in the way he approaches you, you can tell in the way he handles the business, and you can tell in the way things are done every single time you come in, that it's up to his standard or it's going to be fixed in a heartbeat.
I was very fortunate that I worked for my dad. Then I got specialty restaurants, worked with Peter Monton. I get promoted to Chicago as vice president of the company. I get a phone call one day from Arnie Morton, who started Morton's. He said, hey, is Bob Sambol? I said, yeah. He said, well, I heard you're a pretty good restaurant guy. I want to talk to you about coming to work for me. I got to work for him running his restaurant, Arnie's, and Morton's, the original Morton's. I got to watch that evolution of that magical steakhouse. My old company, Specialty Restaurants, calls me back, come back to work for us, make me an unbelievable offer. I leave Arnie Morton, and I go back to work for Specialty Restaurants. Now, I wasn't ready to open my own restaurant because I had a really good job. One day, I get a phone call again. Bob, this is Dick Clark. Okay? No, really, this is Dick Clark. I said, Dick Clark, Dick Clark? He says, Dick Clark, Dick Clark. I heard you're a pretty good restaurant guy. I've got a restaurant here in Miami that isn't doing so good. Our first one called Dick Clark's American Bandstand Grill. I want you to come work for me. Phenomenal experience to be around a guy like him who was just a phenomenal businessman, innovator, wasn't a restaurant guy, and I just soaked it all in.
If you're a self-respecting Texas Panhandle resident, you have to love beef. And then when you get outside of the Panhandle, then you try to find where you can get the best steak. And so I found it here. And it's not only just the steak, it's the atmosphere. It's the friendliness of the people. Bob does a great operation because he makes you feel welcome.
Had a very good friend of mine named Jack Jackson, who had a steakhouse in Fort Lauderdale in Port Everglades called Burt and Jack's. He was partners with Burt Reynolds. He fashioned the restaurant that was right on the water after the original Morton's that I showed him. Men had to wear jackets. It was a magical place. Jack decides, based on some friends he had, that he should go to Dallas and open a Burt and Jack's. So he calls me up, he said, listen, why don't you take a trip with me to Dallas? I want to look for a restaurant. You'll be my partner, you, me, Burt, you'll move to Dallas, and you run it. It's a Tuesday night. We come to the original Del Frisco's on Lemon Avenue, which is now Bob's, and there's a line out the door. A physical line out the door, a high-end steakhouse. I said, this is unbelievable. Who does it? This is nuts. We go have dinner. Jack and I knew we had some mutual friends in the meat business. We introduced ourselves to Dale Wamstead, Del Frisco. What are you guys doing in town? Well, we're here to look for a restaurant. Your search has ended. What do you mean? I'm moving to Spring Valley in a tollway. Buy this from me. Sold. I'm buying a restaurant with a line out the door? Yeah. We start negotiating. Jack and him didn't really hit it off. I say to Jack, is it okay if I talk to Dale? Sure. I say, well, I'm going to do it. We start talking. The only thing I really leave out of the story is that I didn't tell him I had no money. I talk him into opening Bob and Dale's Chop House. All I can tell you was we did 60 dinners the first night, and it was downhill after that. After 6 months, he says, either buy me out or we're closing it up. I finally found a partner, a gentleman by the name of Bill Lennox, who was a customer here. He was a very successful Western wear design business and manufacturer. I go to his office, I tell him the deal, tell him the money I need. Don't tell him everything, but I tell him the majority of it because I didn't want to scare him away. He had his financial advisor and his accountant with him. They both say no. He says yes. I handed Dale the check on December 29th of 1994, 2 days before he would have thrown me out, and he would have. And we opened Bob's, Bill and I, and it became a gradual success.
I've been coming to Bob's Steak and Chop House since 1994. There isn't another restaurant in this town that I can say that I've frequented as much as Bob's for that length of time.
I realized I made it when D Magazine decided to rate the steakhouses. And at that time, there was only 17 steakhouses. I was a player, but I wasn't a major player. So they went into each of the 17 steakhouses and ordered the exact same thing. The same appetizer, salad, steak, potato, everything. And they ranked me #1. They had a picture of me and the top chops. Man, it pissed off guys like Dale Wamstead, Del Frisco, Phil Romano, who had Nick and Sam's. They wanted to sue D Magazine. They thought I paid them off.
When I get out of my car at Bob's and I open the front door, I know exactly what I'm going to get, and it's a feeling of warmth. It's home.
The proudest thing I've done, I've become part of people's lives. People have an emotional attachment to this restaurant. They remember celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, coming from their funerals. And you become part of their life. And I got to meet people like T. Boone Pickens and Stanley Marcus and Rudy Giuliani when he was running for president. What gets me invigorated every day with my job is, and I really mean this, I still love opening up in the morning, and because I feel like my father's with me when I do it. And so there are a lot of mornings I come here by myself, and that's my happy place. It brings back fond memories. I love the idea of come 5 o'clock when we open, it's showtime. Everything else gets forgotten. Anything else in your life takes a back seat because I got to make these people happy.